Welcome, everyone. We're diving deep into the world of music and its amazing power over our minds. We've got tons of research, personal stories from musicians and therapists, even some really cool accounts that'll make you think, whoa.
Yeah, we're going to explore how music affects your brain chemistry, your social life, even how healthy you are, the whole package.
You know that feeling, like chills down your spine or when a song makes you want to dance? We'll break down the science of that, and you might be surprised at just how deep this connection to music goes. Did you know our love for music, it might actually be tied to something we do every day?
It really is amazing. Imagine Artie, way back, like 4.4 million years ago, one of our early ancestors, just walking upright, that steady rhythm, that's like the blueprint for music as we know it.
So you're saying our ancestors just walking around millions of years ago, that's what set the stage for the music we hear today?
Yeah.
Man, I'm already hooked. Tell me more.
That walking connection is huge because it ties together our brains, how we move, and the sounds we make. Think about it. Birdsong, it's all over the place, right? Just like how they fly. And whales, their songs flow like they're moving through water. But us, humans, our music has that steady pulse, that beat, like we're on a journey.
Wow, so that need to move to create rhythm, it's literally in our DNA. But how does this ancient connection actually work in our brains today? Like, what happens up there when we hear a song?
Well, it's not like one light bulb goes off in your brain when you hear music. It's a whole fireworks show. It starts with the brainstem, the most basic part. It just reacts like if a loud sound suddenly happens.
Okay, so that's why I jump when a huge chord blasts out of my speakers. Is my brainstem doing its thing?
Exactly. But then you have the basal ganglia. That's all about pleasure, whether you like something or not. That's why you instantly love or hate certain songs. It's that part of your brain weighing in.
So when I'm like, this is my jam, it's actually my basal ganglia giving it the thumbs up.
Precisely. And there's the amygdala, the emotion center. Music goes straight there, making you feel happy, sad, excited, all of it.
That makes so much sense, right? Music can bring up such strong feelings, even memories.
And lastly, there's the neocortex. That's the brainy part that figures out complicated patterns, like the harmony and melody in a song.
So the deeper we go into the brain, the more universal our reaction to music is.
You got it. And that shared experience in our brains, it's basically why music has the power to bring us together, socially.
Let's talk about that social connection. We all know music brings people together, concerts, singing with friends, even sharing playlists. But what's the science behind it?
Well, our sources found something really cool. One study showed that singing together, it releases more oxytocin, the cuddle hormone, than just hanging out, no music. It's like supercharging how close we feel.
So singing together is actually like social glue, and not just because it's fun. It's changing our brains.
Exactly. Music doesn't just make us feel connected, it strengthens those bonds, like physically. And what's wild is that this feeling goes way beyond just our close friends.
What do you mean by that?
Think about it. Every note, every chord change, all the stuff we hear in music, it reflects this huge history, something we all understand. Like, we're tapping into a giant social network across different cultures and time periods.
That's such a cool way to look at it. Makes sense why music can make us feel part of something bigger, a community, a culture, even something spiritual. But our deep dive showed music is way more than just social connection. It's like this awesome multi-tool for how we feel, overall.
Yeah. One of the biggest things we found was how music messes with our stress system. It actually helps lower how much cortisol we make. That's the stress hormone.
Hold on. So if I'm stressed,
Yeah.
listening to my favorite music could actually help me calm down. Man, I wish I'd known that back in college during finals.
Absolutely. And not only does it chill you out, music also gets your brain to release dopamine. And that's what makes you feel good, rewarded. So it's like a 2-for-1 deal, calming you down and boosting your mood.
Okay, so music fights stress and makes you happy. Starting to see why they call it the universal language. What else can this magical sound stuff do?
Oh, there's more. Lots of studies show music can help your memory, even help you understand and express your feelings better.
So all those strong memories tied to certain songs, it's not just a coincidence.
Nope. Music actually helps build stronger connections in your brain, making those memories clearer and easier to remember. Like, it creates a soundtrack for your life.
Speaking of soundtracks, I'm curious about this whole music and movement thing. Our sources said humans are wired to move to music in a way that even monkeys don't quite get.
That's right. It's called entrainment. It's
Yeah.
like your brain locks onto the beat and creates this internal rhythm you can move to. Imagine a marching band. Everyone has their part, but they all move together, synced up to the beat.
So when I'm tapping my foot, dancing to a song, My brain is basically becoming part of that rhythm.
Exactly. And this whole getting in the groove thing, it's deeply ingrained in us, even from when we're tiny. You see babies bobbing their heads to music way before they can even walk or talk.
That's incredible. Our brains are made for music, even if we don't realize it.
Hmm.
This deep dive is blowing my mind. Where do we go from here? What else can music do?
Well, now's where it gets really interesting. We're going to explore how this power of music is being used in some pretty incredible ways, especially in therapy.
You mentioned music therapy. What gets me is how music can actually help people with things like dementia and Parkinson's disease. It's almost like music can unlock parts of their brains that we thought were gone.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? For people whose internal rhythms are messed up by those conditions, music can be that external beat that helps them move and connect again.
Like a lifeline almost, to get back to those rhythms of life.
And the emotional impact, it's huge. Our sources had stories from these care facilities where music therapy was like this breakthrough moment. One story even said a man who hadn't spoken in like 6 months, he started singing along to his wedding song. It was like the music woke up a part of him that had been asleep.
Getting chills just thinking about it. It's like music can skip past all the mental barriers and go straight to the heart.
Exactly. Music's this bridge to memories, feelings, even to other people in a way that words sometimes just can't do. And this whole therapy thing goes way beyond those specific conditions, too. Music therapy is being used for anxiety, depression, chronic pain, even PTSD.
It's mind-blowing that something as simple as music can have such a huge impact on healing and how we feel overall. But our sources also mention some of the more, I guess, complicated and even controversial things about music's power, like how it can be used for bad stuff or to manipulate people.
Right. We got to remember, music is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used in the wrong way. Some types of music have been linked to, like violence, aggression, risky behaviors, especially with younger people.
That's kind of unsettling. Does that mean some music is just bad, like inherently dangerous?
Not really. It's way more complicated than that. Music doesn't just exist on its own. It mixes with our personalities, our social situations, what we already believe.
So it's not about banning certain types of music, but being aware of how they might affect us and, the messages they're sending.
Exactly. It's about developing those critical listening skills, paying attention to lyrics, rhythms, the whole vibe, and asking, how does this make me feel?
That's a great point. Being conscious of the music we listen to, just like we're learning to be more conscious about what we eat and the information we take in, we need to be aware of how it can shape our thoughts, emotions, and even how we act.
Precisely. And that brings us to another fascinating thing about music. It's kind of sneaky, Our sources pointed out how it can get past our logical filters and influence us without us even knowing.
Like those catchy jingles that get stuck in your head even when you're trying to forget them.
Exactly. Or think about how music playing in a store can subtly affect your mood and even make you buy more stuff. Music can tap into our emotions, even our bodies, without us realizing it.
It's like sonic mind control. That's both really cool and a little creepy.
It reminds us that music is way more than just entertainment. It's a powerful force that can shape how we see the world, what we believe, even our actions, sometimes without us fully understanding it.
So what can we do as listeners to become more aware of this hidden influence?
Pay attention to how different music makes you feel, both physically and emotionally. Notice if some kinds of music bring up negative thoughts or make you feel more anxious or maybe more energized and relaxed.
It's like developing this, sonic intuition.
Yeah.
Tuning in to how our bodies react to the music we hear.
Exactly. And once you start noticing, you might be surprised how much your environment is affecting how you feel inside.
That's so true. I've definitely become more conscious of the music I play at home and in my car. I want music that feels good and uplifting.
And that's a great example of taking charge of your own sonic world. You're choosing what you want to experience and creating a more positive and balanced environment for yourself.
Now, I'm really curious about this idea of music as a reflection of our culture. Some sources mention that music is like a mirror, showing us our hopes, fears, and what we value as a society.
That's a super interesting idea, and I think there's some truth to it. If you look at the history of music, you see how different types came about and changed along with big shifts in culture.
That's true. Think about the protest songs in the 60s, punk rock in the 70s, and how hip-hop blew up in the 80s. Each of those movements reflected what was going on socially and politically at the time.
Exactly. And today, we see genres like electronic dance music and K-pop capturing that global feeling, reflecting our world that's so connected and tech-driven.
It's like music is a living, breathing history of being human. a tapestry made from our emotions, dreams, and struggles.
But it's not just a reflection. Music can also shape culture, influence what we believe in and value.
Like how certain songs become anthems for movements or music videos, shaping how we see beauty and who we are.
Right. Music can be a powerful tool for change, for better or worse.
So we can't just passively listen to music.
Yeah.
We have to be engaged, think critically, and consciously create our own sonic world.
Absolutely. We need to ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want? And how can music help us build that world?
That's a great question to think about. Now, as we shift back to music therapy, our sources had some amazing examples of how it's used to treat so many conditions, from autism to Alzheimer's to chronic pain.
Music therapy is growing like crazy, and people are realizing it's a powerful way to heal and change.
We've heard stories of dementia patients, like coming back to life when they hear music from their past, Parkinson's patients moving more freely with rhythmic cues, even premature babies doing better in the NICU with soothing melodies.
Music therapy taps into this amazing ability of the brain to change and rewire itself. It can boost how we think, reduce stress, improve movement, even help us express our emotions and connect with others.
It's like music opens up these hidden pathways in the brain, creating new possibilities for healing and growth. But what about the spiritual side of music therapy? Some sources mentioned using music to connect with a higher power, to heal on a deeper level.
That's definitely an interesting area to explore. Some music therapists include spiritual practices in their work, using music to create a sense of peace, transcendence, that connection with something bigger.
It makes sense considering how music has always been part of spiritual traditions all over the world. It's like a universal language that goes beyond culture and religion.
And in music therapy, it can offer comfort, hope, and even a spiritual awakening for those who are searching for healing and wholeness.
That's beautiful. It's like music can be a bridge between our inner world and the divine, a way to access deeper levels of healing and transformation. But we have to be respectful of everyone's beliefs and not say that music is some magical cure for everything.
Absolutely. Music therapy is a complex field that needs specific training and a deep understanding of both music and the human mind.
Right. It's not about playing any random song and expecting miracles. There's a real art and science to using music to heal.
And it's about recognizing what each person needs and prefers, using music in a way that creates the best and most healing experience.
You know, as we're wrapping up this deep dive into music and the mind, I'm realizing how much we just, take music for granted.
It's true. Music is everywhere, you know? It's so easy to forget how powerful it really is.
Yeah, it's this invisible force shaping our thoughts and feelings, even our actions, and we don't even realize it.
And as we've seen, it's so much more than just background noise or entertainment. It's like a force of nature, this universal language that can heal, inspire, and change us.
But like we talked about, it can also be used in bad ways, even weaponized. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Huge potential for good and for harm.
That's why it's so important to really listen, to pay attention to the music we choose and how it affects us physically, emotionally, even spiritually.
You're so right. We need to be picky about our music diet, just like we're learning to be more mindful of the food we eat and the information we take in.
Think of it this way. Every song, every note you hear, it's like planting a seed in your mind. So what kind of seeds do you want to plant?
Whoa. That's a really powerful image. So how do we become more aware of these seeds we're planting? What are some practical things we can do to create a healthier sound environment for ourselves?
Well, the first step is just noticing, paying attention. How do different kinds of music make you feel? Do certain songs or genres lift your mood or make you anxious? Do they inspire you or drain your energy?
It's like tuning into that inner voice, becoming more aware of how our bodies react to music.
Exactly. And once you start paying attention, you might be surprised at how much your environment is influencing your inner world.
That's so true. I know I've become much more conscious of what music I play at home and in the car.
Yeah.
I want to create a sonic space that feels good and supportive.
And that's a great way to take control of your sonic landscape. You're choosing the seeds you want to plant and nurturing a more positive and balanced environment for yourself.
Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this idea of music as a reflection of our culture. Some sources said music is like a mirror, showing us society's hopes, fears, and values.
That's a fascinating thought, and I think there's a lot of truth to it. When you look at music history, you can see how different genres popped up and evolved alongside big cultural changes.
You're right. The protest songs of the 60s, the rise of punk rock in the 70s, the explosion of hip-hop in the 80s. Each of those movements mirrored what was happening socially and politically.
Exactly. And today, genres like electronic dance music and K-pop are capturing that global feeling, reflecting our world that's so interconnected and driven by technology.
It's like music is this living, breathing record of what it means to be human, a tapestry woven from our emotions, dreams, and struggles.
But it's not just a passive reflection, you know. Music can also shape culture, influence our values and beliefs.
Like how certain songs become anthems for movements or music videos can influence how we see beauty and ourselves.
Right. Music can be this powerful tool for social change, for better or for worse.
So it's not enough to just listen passively. We have to be active listeners, think critically, and create our own sonic landscapes consciously.
Absolutely. We need to ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to live in, and how can music help us get there?
That's such an important question. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm just in awe of how powerful and complex music really is. It's this force that's been with us since the beginning, shaping our evolution, our culture, our individual lives.
It's a gift, a mystery, and a responsibility all at the same time.
So let's approach music with respect, with a critical ear, and with an open heart. Let's listen deeply, not just with our ears, but with our whole beings.
And let's use this incredible gift to create a world that's more harmonious, more compassionate, more fully alive.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll bring this deep dive to a close. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the world of music and the mind with us.
We encourage you to keep the conversation going. What resonated with you? What questions are still swirling around in your head?
And most importantly, how will you use the power of music to make a positive difference in your own life and the world?
Until next time, keep listening, keep exploring, and keep letting the music move you.